Welcome, YouTube folk, to another video. This time we're talking about Exoborne, and Bong, of course, is here with me as well.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yeah, we're just going to have a little chat about Exoborne, the new game from Shark Mob and Level Infinite, and it's looking like it could be a tasty treat. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, basically, future plus PvE plus AAA studio potential.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a tactical open world extraction shooter, PC console, UE5, brand new IP, and the most ambitious project from Shark Mob and Level Infinite, who of course did Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines, which was the BR with lots of verticality, and lots of people who worked on The Division as well. And you can see those vibes coming through in the trailer as well. So we're big fans of the extraction shooter genre. If you've watched any of our streams or videos, you know we like lots of these type of different games. But, you know, a true AAA experience dedicated to the genre hasn't been done yet, realistically, like a proper one.
I think we're now into the full swing of the age of the extraction shooter has begun.
Basically, yeah. And I think that this and other titles, which will remain nameless in this sponsored video for Exoborne, are going to be leaning hard into that. So I was recently invited to a behind closed doors look at Exoborne, and we had a look at the trailer and a bit of gameplay as well, and we got to ask a few questions to the devs. So I've got a few notes written down, but also we'll just be talking about the game in general and what we feel about it. But yeah, the trailer's released, and you can see in the trailer there's lots of men and ladies, in fact, fighting in what seems to be a ruined world of destruction and
it's very
heavy
stormy
weather.
Yeah, well, it's a very clement, certainly to use that word. I would say
you finally got to use it in a video.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it immediately reminds me, obviously stylistically, of futury District 9, Elysium.
Yeah, Well, so the Exo-rigs, clearly there's going to be, the idea of the Exo-rigs is there's going to be different types of Exo-rigs with different types of attachments and upgrades and that kind of thing that allow to fill different roles. In the trailer, you can even see there seems to be like a very agile one. There seems to be a heavily armored one. We can expect this kind of stuff as, there's all sorts of different approaches players will be able to take with their Exo-rigs. But the core of the game is a PvE-VP game where you go into Colton County, which is a ruined US state, basically, by all these horrible weather events. The story itself will be built out through the interactions with NPCs and missions you do in game, and of course you'll be playing with friends up to 3 players as it's designed. And you'll go and loot in the world. You'll find upgrades. You'll find new guns. You'll find stuff that you can use and take out and extract if you're so lucky.
Looks like there's a mix of your standard guns that you'd see like an AK or a Deagle or something, but then also there's energy shields,
future guns.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So, but then the core of it comes down to these Exo-rigs, which presumably you can find cool little upgrades and attachments for. I asked, in fact, directly in the behind closed doors, like, what kind of attachments can we find? And one of the examples was given was, and I saw it in a brief gameplay segment as well, was a grappling hook. The classic grappling hook, hook to a thing, launch yourself up. It also seemed in the gameplay footage I was shown, at least the Exo-rigs I was looking at have a very high jump because they want to keep that verticality that the studio's now kind of become known for. So it's not just you're looking left and right and behind and forward, but you're always going to be looking up and down and left and right because they want you to really they want you to use the Z-axis.
The trailer gives you the idea that it's like this large open wasteland of a city or wherever you are.
Yeah, exactly, the county. So there'll be different areas. You can expect a different map with different zones that have different missions, and there'll be public events as well that will spawn on the map to bring players together to PvP, and of course you can loot other players and all that kind of stuff you'd expect from an extraction shooter as well. How the extraction shooter mechanics work, I don't exactly know. I don't know if you can extract anytime you like, or there's certain points. I wasn't sure on that. I don't think that was clarified in the footage we've been shown all the behind closed doors, but it could all be subject to change. But you can expect that obviously it's meant to be the high risk gameplay. Maybe they should use that. They can have that if they want. Vehicles as well. There will be vehicles. I did see in the gameplay trailer I was shown a small little cars. Well, it didn't look all encrusted. They looked like little buggies. There was 3 buggies, so each player had a buggy, and they were traversing and going.
Do you think that was part of their suit, like a Transformer?
No, I don't think there was any mention of Transformers. But basically, it's a little car, and there will be other vehicles. We were told. I asked, will there be any flying vehicles? And he was like, oh well, wouldn't you like to know? So I'm going to say yes. Or in the trailer, you can at least see
Bus
see
flies
parachutes.
at a man.
Yeah.
I think that's mainly due to tornado.
Yeah, you can see parachutes in the trailer they're showing as well. So some kind of like gliders and parachutes, surely. I don't know if helicopters or anything will be on the cards, but
There is in the trailer. There is. I think that's probably the extraction copter,
yeah. There's
right?
probably extraction. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so there will be vehicles to traverse the map as well. How big the map is, we don't know. I'm expecting it to be rather large. Sort of thinking more towards, rather than having a big, like, multiple map. We don't know if they're going to do multiple maps, but if the game's successful, which hopefully it will be, maybe they will. But at the moment, it's this Colton County in the US map. And I, like you said, I imagine it's going to be built up. You can see in the trailer, it's got clearly like little residential areas, maybe big buildings to fight over, and then some more open expanses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what else did I learn? Yes, you lose everything on death, as you would expect in an extraction shooter. There's no keeping, and you'll lose the loot. No RPG mechanics in this one, so there's no leveling up. You're like, oh, my guy can now reload faster because I've leveled him up, or this guy can do that. So all of how good your character is in each session is purely based on what you bring in and what suit you bring and what upgrades. Which also leads me to the next part of what we enjoy, well, what we've talked about with extraction shooters before, which is how to balance it against other players, which I do think is actually quite a boring but important topic to cover in these, because a lot of other games in the genre haven't nailed it at all. Okay, like yes, you're meant to have like this situation where you can loot players for much better loot than you've got, but you also don't want a situation where new players are coming in and fighting against people who are completely looted, and you've got no chance to defeat them, or at least very little chance, because that's not that fun.
Obviously, if they don't go for wipes, then a new player coming in, say 3 months after launch or 6 months after launch, how are they going to stand up to somebody who's got the ultra mega exo rig with all the attachments and bell and probably whistles as well? Yeah.
So this is for the devs to work out, but no one's really got this right in any of the games we've played of the genre. But having loose matchmaking buckets based on your loot is generally a good idea, I'd say. The plan, of course, as well, I asked in this behind closed door session, there is no plan for wipes in terms of they don't want to do them. They'd rather not do them, which I agree with, because I think it's an easy way out to go, okay, well, everyone starts again every 3 months. But that's kind of naff. And in this game particularly, the progression, it's got long-term progression, which is trying to differentiate it from other games in the genre. So there's lots of crafting, for example. There's all weapons are upgradable, customizable, lots of variation. For your exo rigs as well, and they want you to be able to keep that and grow on it and get a collection, like upgrade all your rigs and your guns and have a nice big collection that you keep forever, rather than going, and now it's all gone and you start again, like many of the extraction games do, which I do agree with as well.
You might be able to find like a CPU to add into your legs that will make you jump as high as a house.
I mean, this is I think there will be jumping again, considering the verticality part. I do think that's going to be part of it. The other big part of this is it will have a meta game with missions and quests outside of the game, where you talk to people and say, go and fetch me this, or I need you to investigate this, and that will build on the story as well. And that should flesh out the world as well, which seems to be, like we've seen in the trailer, mostly weather is a problem, a really big problem, and it's been shown that clearly tornadoes you'll have to contend with, but also
what else? Flash floods,
lightning storms, cyclones have been mentioned.
Cyclone's just a baby tornado, isn't it?
Yeah, but imagine it just whips you up and you just it just whips you away. But obviously lightning strikes, I can imagine, will be a thing.
Destruction? Did you see any destruction? I didn't
see any. Well, there was destruction of like sort of stuff people were shooting, but I didn't see like the terrain detonating and stuff coming out. But earthquakes would be a really cool one that no one's really used to full effect in a game like a PvEVP game like that. And we're not saying earthquakes are in it, by the way. We don't know. We're just discussing
speculating
what could be in it. But what is in it that we do know is that you are called Reborn, extraordinary survivors, fitted with an implant allowing you to use these powerful exo-rigs. You can upgrade them, you go into sessions, you find loot, you take it out, you do missions, you build on the story, you can go with your team. Presumably you can go alone or matchmake with other people again. And
PC or console?
PC console, UE5, a most ambitious project of Level Infinite. And I really like Sharp Mob and Level Infinite. I think they've built some nice stuff so far. And I'm definitely looking forward to more from them. So I think that's everything we know of the game so far and what we also want. If there's anything you guys would like to know about the game and that we can answer, then do ask in the comments below. But otherwise, we'll just have to hold tight and wait for more footage and more details. And I'm looking forward to seeing more.
Well, I want to get hands on.
So do check out the game using the link in the description below or the pinned comment and wish list today. Goodbye.